And speaking of famous people going apolitical, Dwayne the Rock Johnson has basically declared that he is not endorsing any particular political candidate, and moreover, that he is a proponent of non-divisiveness, and he doesn't like how divisive our country has become. He wants to go back to when everybody was friendly and when things were not so divisive. And he thinks part of his contribution to that is by recusing himself from any sort of political endorsement and going apolitical. He thinks that that's like the right move for him to make. So this here from Yahoo says Dwayne the Rock Johnson bemoans woke culture, declines to endorse presidential candidate. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is keeping his name off the ballot slip and his lips sealed about his 2024 presidential vote. In an interview with Fox and Friends shared Friday, the wrestler and actor reflected on his 2020 endorsement of President Joe Biden. What that caused back then was something that tears me up in my guts back then and now, which is division, Johnson said, adding that it's something he won't do this election cycle. The takeaway after that, after months and months and months, I started to realize, like, oh man, that caused an incredible amount of division in our country. The Black Adam star said, I wouldn't do that because my goal is to bring our country together. I believe in that in my DNA. So, in the spirit of that, there's going to be no endorsement. Johnson added, not that I'm afraid of it all, but it's just I realize that with this level of influence, I keep my politics to myself, and I think it's between me and the ballot box. Biden and former President Donald Trump are the presumptive Democrat and Republican nominees, respectively, in the 2024 presidential election this November. Third party candidates include Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Cornel West, and Jill Stein. Whatever happens this election, Johnson said he will support the president. I do trust the American people, and I trust that whoever they vote for, that's going to be my president, and that's who I'm going to support 100%, he said. Although Johnson did not reveal which way his vote was swaying, he did share that he wants the country to move away from woke culture and cancel culture because, quote, that really bugs me. The Jumanji star also stressed that he's not throwing his hat in the election ring. That's not my intention. I'm not a politician. I'm not into politics. I care deeply about our country in the spirit of bringing people together and bringing our country together. I don't know if that's the right move at this point. So there you go. Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is apolitical because he wants to promote uh, a lack of division. I don't know what is the opposite of divisive. I don't even know because I keep trying
Unity.
unity. There you go. Very good. Thank you. So yeah, he wants to he wants to be a part of the unity movement, and he wants to move away from divisiveness. And he feels like his endorsement of Biden back in 2020 was a catalyst for divisiveness. So, what do you make of this? You got to admire this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's political him doing this. That's what I. So, hey, man. Now, first of all, now who can disagree with that? Now, who likes what's what people call woke culture now? Who likes that? And who likes divisiveness? And who likes animosity? So it's a very noble thing to say. Whoever wins, I'll support that guy because it's all about support. Hey man, I love all of that, man. But he had to backtrack. I feel like this is all him backtracking from the extreme that we were talking about earlier. He was heavily aligned with the left. And he did all things left. His name came up when left things came up. He was always associated with, the Oprahs and the Obamas. And I mean, hell, they said he was out there doing the whole Biden thing. So this guy was bought and paid for as one of those celebrity people that people should worship and follow along these political campaigns. If anybody looks at what's going on right now in Washington, I don't know how anybody can actually sit there and say that, yeah, let's do this again. Let's repeat. And they'd be like, Rock, are you out of your mind? Like, you can't repeat this. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, the country is in a crazy spiral. All right. I'm not saying that the other side got answers, but the guy that got you in a deeper spiral should not be the solution to dig you out of it. So for The Rock to sit here and separate himself from the left, who is finding themselves in all kinds of shenanigery, when names are getting exposed and dropped and leaked and said and all other types of things that's associated with left people, it's best to not associate with cancel culture and tell all of your followers that we don't jive with cancel culture, guys. So if you guys find my name floating around on any lists, don't cancel me, and don't partake in this crazy culture, because it's all, that's what I feel like all this is. And I feel like this is just a career move, a political move. Let me throw out a statement. He's not going to hold a press conference for this, but this is like holding a press conference and letting all your people know where you stand. So it can soften the blow down the line whenever there's rocks to be thrown. At least that's kind of how I feel about this. What are your thoughts on how Dwayne the Rock, being apolitical, I like that term, and saying, yeah, man, and saying that he's done with woke culture?
I think that the title of the article is clickbait because they didn't really like the article is more so about him being apolitical, not being
Mm-hmm.
anti-woke or cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one little small tidbit of the article. And it wasn't even a direct quote. It was like an attribution more so. So I kind of feel like I feel like this is more so a conversation about him being apolitical than it is about him being anti-woke. Not that he isn't anti-woke. I just think that the article used that as a clickbaity title because the woke component of the article is a very small portion of it to me. But I think nevertheless, this is a smart move on his part. We just got finished talking about Travis Kelce and how he liked a Instagram post from Sage Steele, who's publicly conservative and a Republican voter, and got him into social media troll hot water. Not legitimate hot water from a controversy standpoint, but from a social media perspective, a
Mm-hmm.
bit of hot water with the trolls on the internet who don't got nothing better to do than to just find the next thing to be offended about and find the next thing that they want to expose. So this is smart on his part. Just be apolitical and toe the line. Hey, look, man, um, you can do this if you are on one particular side. We just, and that was what I was talking about with Travis Kelce. So here's my theory on what I think happened with The Rock, because I think he's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think he's a plant. I don't think he doesn't strike me as the type of person who's a plant. I do think that he's for sale,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know that he's a plant per se.
I
I
wouldn't
still
say
think
that.
that if it's huh?
And I say, yeah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he's a
Yeah,
plant.
I don't think he's a plant per se, but I do think he's for sale, meaning that if it's something that he agrees with, he'll allow himself to be, put on front street in support of that if he
Mm-hmm.
agrees with it. But if he doesn't agree with it, I don't think he'll just go along to get along and be a plant just to kind of put propaganda out there. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
strike me as that kind of guy, at least not up to this point.
Okay.
But having said that, I think back in 2020 when he was more likely to be somebody who's publicly political, he realized he was on the wrong side of things. You know, he realized, hey man, I don't necessarily like everything super liberal. Some of this stuff isn't okay. I kind of disagree with a lot of this stuff, but he can't say it because if he says it, then he's a bad guy. So what he has to do is dial it back to the point where he's not on either side and he's just apolitical and he keeps it private and to himself. Because if he publicly says, I don't agree with everything that liberal people do, he'll get destroyed and his career will take a hit. But he can't say that he does agree with everything that liberal people do because he really doesn't. He doesn't. So because he's caught between a rock and a hard place where he doesn't really agree with it because a lot of it is insane, but he doesn't want to say that he doesn't like what they do because then he'll get killed in the internet world. He has to keep mum. Mum's the word for him at that point. He has to be apolitical. And I think as far as he'll go is say, yeah, I don't really like cancel culture or woke culture. He won't get specific and he won't elaborate, but the furthest he'll go is say, I don't really appreciate it too much. Because if he gets into specifics with some of the issues that will cause that to come up, he might get canceled himself. So best to just be quiet and be apolitical, because unless you're somebody like LeBron or Taylor Swift or Jay-Z, or any of these people who are just going to lean into being on the left on everything, therefore it's going to be beneficial to you because the left runs the internet. You kind of have to be quiet and just stay apolitical, because those are the people who I look at as who I look at as billboards. Not so, the Rock to me is different than them. The Rock is just trying to handle business. The Rock is just trying to. The Rock is out here. He still goes and does WWE from time to time, and he's out here starting football leagues, the USFL, and he's the chair. He's on the board with the group that runs the WWE and UFC. So The Rock is about his money and his business. He's not somebody who's out here trying to be a forced fake social activist. If it's something that makes sense to him, he'll rock with it. But he's not just going to allow himself to be a political ploy for the sake of it, like most of these celebrities out here do. So as a result of that, he has to be apolitical because it's the best course of action for him. Because if he disagrees with a lot of what's going on with the liberal contingent, but he knows that he's smart, but he's smart enough to know that he can't say I support some of the stuff that's going on the traditional conservative side, because then he'll get destroyed for that. The only recourse he has at that point is to be apolitical. So I think it's a smart move for him, but it's a greater observation in an unfortunate reality of this country, in which you can't really talk about how you support anything traditional or right leaning, because then people just kind of want to come for you, especially if you're a celebrity, because then you're a hater and all these other things. So you either have to be left or be quiet. And I guess for him, he decided to just be quiet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's pretty much the only thing. It's kind of like all left people are loud about it, and they'll sit around and like, yeah, man, I'm left as hell. I can't stand that orange man. I'm left. I'm like, yeah. What about you? How, and the person that is conservative typically goes, I don't know, yeah,
No
and
comment. No comment.
whenever they don't tell you, you already know where they're going. And so yeah, so he removed himself from the conversation. He took his name out the chat. His name was in the group chat with all the left people. He was associated with that. And so basically it's like The Rock has, left the chat. And he had to let everybody know he left the chat. So don't hit me up about these events. I'm not coming to y'all little things no more. Like I can't be seen with this. This is my thing with him. And I think it's for his best interest. Whether people want to believe it or not, the rumors that swarm around people like him and the people that he hang around is not good for business. So it's best to disassociate with that. And I think that's what this is about too. Like he has to disassociate from these names and these scandals. And you're running your whole empire, like you said. You got this going on over there. We all know he's a part of Hollywood. All right. So, we know he does things or may have allegedly, who knows, but nobody's clean in this thing. So even with that, even I could have been assuming that that's not good for him because people think like that. So just get away from that. Just remove yourself completely. And I think that this is a good move financially for him, a good strategic PR type thing where, he's not going to say nothing bad about Joe, nothing bad about Trump. He's going to stay ambiguous. And like he said, basically it's my business who I vote for, but whoever gets in the office, I'm not going to be against them either, because we got to do this together, y'all. Great answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, the only people that's really going to be upset about that are people on the left.
Yep.
and
Yeah,
and
man.
and
Yeah.
nothing wrong. And by the way, let me just say this: there's nothing wrong with being on the left. By the way, you know what I'm saying? We're laughing at the extremist.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
laughing at the extremists, and
Yes.
I'm most likely, if you're over here watching the conscious approach, you're not an extremist. You just
Yeah.
don't think the other people are right, which you're entitled
Right.
to.
Right.
So, but we're laughing at the extremists because they're going to try to tear him apart. I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, this is always about the extremists, because as you and I have said many times on this channel over various topics, the majority of the population is somewhere in the middle. The majority of people are reasonable and not extremists, but the extremists are what's online. And the extremists are the loud people who make it a part of their day to leave comments and memes and gifs. Because regular everyday people are too busy living life to have time to do that stuff. But if you spend too much time, if you spend enough time on the internet, you'll come to believe that that's the majority of the people because it's so loud and noisy. And
Mhm.
it's really not. It's just the weirdos who are going to take his comments at face value. And like, there are probably people who will look at those comments of him being completely apolitical and just assume that now he's jumping ship and supporting the right. And that'll give them all the ammunition they need to come after him too.
Well, technically,
So but he ain't say it though.
I
So
know.
like, it's just it's a sad state of affairs. It really is, in my opinion, what we got going on here, where you either have to, when it comes to like public engagements, when it comes to how you operate your social media, when it comes to how you do anything in that space, if you're a public figure of any regard, if you are going to be somebody who expresses any sort of policy, viewpoint, or political opinion, it really does behoove you to either say something that is leftist or be quiet. And that really is unfortunate. So if you aren't on the side of the leftists, you have to stay silent, or else your career will be adversely affected. You'll say perfectly reasonable things, and next thing you know, you're getting fired from TV shows and getting fired from TV networks. And all you did was express a point of view that at the most is disagreeable.
Or
So
like a point.
like Dogon and I aren't sitting up here saying that it's best to be right or best to be conservative or best to be traditional. We're just saying the dogmatic nature of the two polar opposite sides is problematic, and how it's become very apparent that the dogmatism is okay as long as you're saying one particular side. So
Right.
you can't be dogmatic if you're a traditionalist because you're a hater, but you can be dogmatic if you're a liberal, and it's okay because you're on the right side of history. And that's not okay. That's not right. That's not fair. And the fact that these celebrities are picking up on that to the point where now they're just becoming these robots who don't have an opinion to speak of,
Yeah.
if you like that, then I guess okay, fine. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, but honestly, bro, that's how I play it.
I
That's
would
how
do
I
this.
play
No, hey, listen. If it was me, I'd do the same. Look, I'd be Mister No Comment. I would be
it.
no.
Yeah.
If anytime you ask me any question about any kind of political anything, I don't give a no comment. Next question. I'm apolitical because I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I tell you how I feel, I'm a hater. And if I stay quiet, then I don't speak up. So either way, it's a lose lose. I'm going to take my career and keep it moving. Y'all ain't gonna
Like
destroy me. Y'all ain't gonna destroy me just because you don't agree with my opinion. Forget
I
that.
know, but like I said, man, that's the crazy part about it. Just being apolitical, you might as well already safe. Because they gonna let you know where they stand at, where you stand, bro. Well, me, you're done.
Hey man, I support everybody.
There you go.
Yeah. Shouts out to the Rock, man. I'm supportive. Shouts
Hey,
out.
man.
Yo.